And joining us now with reaction to that story and to give us a first-hand account of what he saw on the border with John Roberts, our reporter over the weekend, Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman, I saw you out there with John Roberts. I was down there last week. I saw a lot. While I was there was a group of 10 that was stopped from entering illegally and another group of 7 from El Salvador that got in illegally. What'd you see?
Well, we saw wave after wave after wave of people coming in, and at one point, our Border Patrolmen, I'm sure you developed a great respect for what they put up with and what they do. They just quietly keep going about doing their job. But at one point, we were driving through those back roads down by the river, miles away from hardtops, and we went for about an hour and a half down along the river before we saw a Border Patrolman. We did happen to see 2 lookouts jump off a cage over, like 10 feet or so up.
I mean, lookouts from the other side, from Mexico, looking out so that people...
No, actually, Sean, these were on the American side, just about, 30 yards from the river. But there's a pump station that was covered with a big cage, and they were on top of the cage. There are a couple of tanks they like to get on top of where they can see things coming. They saw my vehicle and jumped off. They were shocked to see it because they had just seen the Border Patrolman go by.
Now,
but think about it, Sean. If you're the drug cartels, people are paying you to get you across the river. You may pull some off into sex trafficking and human trafficking for illegal purposes, but you control when they cross, where they cross. The coyotes don't want to be caught, as you learn. But you send several different groups. You tie up our Border Patrolmen at the same time. You know how long it takes to go through that list of questions. It's not unusual to think that, gee, we're in the business of getting drugs into America. We have this amount of time now that we've tied them up with these folks.
Louie,
I mean, it is a disaster, and we need to have the National Guard and more Border Patrol down there and stop it.
I spoke to ICE people and Border Patrol people on my radio show today, and the issues, you have these guys, they're not even willing to go home because of all the health issues that they're facing on a daily basis. And 70% of them, Louie, they can't do their job of patrolling the border because they're doing paperwork and they're helping those kids that are in these varying facilities. And, and Texas, you heard from this mother, 642,000 crimes committed against Texans in the last 7 years. Louie Gohmert.
That's right. Yeah, and over 100,000 criminals. And then you've heard this administration has released tens of thousands of people they knew were criminals. And that means the chances are good they go out and commit crimes again. That's insane. They are putting more and more people at risk, just as the dear mother you just heard from. I mean, there are crimes being committed that wouldn't be committed if these people were down there. And you point out the Border Patrol, they're tied up. Some of them are down there near the border, but they have to bring the people to a staging area and then have them sent on up for their temporary detention. But, Sean, until we start sending some people home, then that wave is just going to keep coming. One night, it was probably about 2 in the morning, one little boy, he said, and he was a sweet kid, and I'd give him a little snack. He was obviously hungry, and he's followed me around, and I said to one of the Fox reporters, or cameramen, what's he saying to me? Sweet kid, he was asking, are you going to stay here till everybody comes? And I said, no. He said, it will be a long time because there are thousands of us waiting to come.
All right, Louie Gohmert.
We got to stop it.
Out with Fox's own John Roberts this weekend. Louie, thank you so much for being with us for that report.